Hey, everybody, welcome back to another podcast, Printing's Alive edition with, yes, you got it, special guests. But today we have a lot of special guests. We have the whole family on. We have the Kaneff family from Arkay Packaging. How you doing, boys?
Good.
Doing
Doing
great.
well.
We're the girls. Just kidding. We'll keep moving. So before anything, I just want to give a little introduction to Mitch because he is our senior leader here and leading the pack. So Mitch is with Arkay Packaging. It's an incredible, truly an incredible, actually, fourth generation family business. It's been around long enough to have seen just about every major change in this industry. Don't know that I've spoken to anybody else really who could go that wide. Arkay isn't just about packaging or print. It's about relationships, evolution, and doing things the right way, and which I'm sure you're going to tell us about. And even your website is amazing with everything on it. Mitch sits in a really interesting spot. He's honoring the legacy that just came before him, while he's also thinking hard about where the business is going next. Hence, we have the children with us. We're going to talk about Arkay, what Arkay actually does, how the company's evolved, where it's headed, because this is real life right in front of us. What it's like raising the next generation inside a multi-generational family business. Mitch has two sons, which you see, and we'll get into how the business is, the pressures or lack of it, and what the future might look like. This is a great conversation I'm looking forward to. So again, welcome, boys.
Thank you for having us.
First thing I want to ask is, Mitch, why don't you give us a 30,000 view of what Arkay Packaging is?
So Arkay Packaging is just entered its 104th year of being in business.
Wow.
My grandfather started the business in 1922 on the Lower East Side of Manhattan in New York City. He was known as a printer's printer, and he came over from the Ukraine as an orphan boy, but with a skill set as he was raised by a printing foreman in Odessa. And he took that skill set through Shanghai, actually through your country in Montreal, in your hometown, and made his way into the Lower East Side. We've been known for our high quality printing since he started. That was the one thing that he was so well known for. And my father joined the business in the 1950s and saw packaging as a great opportunity and vehicle for us to expand. And at that point in time, it was all about selling. My dad knew what relationships were about, and he went after Avon and Dorothy Gray and Chanel and Estee Lauder and Revlon, and had an opportunity to be one of those original madmen that you'd see on TV, working with the art directors on Madison Avenue and doing a lot of sort of fun and exciting things back then. He saw that technology was always the special sauce as we continued to compete globally decade after decade. And so we started with the embellishment, as your shirt would say, by getting involved in things like hot stamping and bronzing and cold foiling. It came later, but hot stamping was actually something he developed and designed. My grandfather actually bought one of the first litho presses that were on 200 Hudson Street. It was all letterpress back then. But anyway, I digress. There's so much to unpack here. It's hard to give you a 104-year history in 30 seconds. But we're a leader, world provider of luxury packaging for the cosmetic, health, and beauty aid areas, consumer products, businesses. We're working also in the tech sector, providing packaging for phone companies, for gourmet chocolate, cookie companies, but anything with added value. Just the embellishment is really a great way to describe who we are. We're artisans. We've got over 400 years with our teammates of having been through launch after launch and design after design, and most importantly, drupa after drupa, and getting to say, what are we going to take home and how are we going to show this to our customers and have their packaging explode from the shelf. All family based. We're 100% stockholders in the business. Max and Josh have joined the business over the last 3 years and 8 months equally. And we're privately held. There is no PE or other stockholders. So we're one of the last remaining privately held packaging businesses, I believe, in the country, let alone around the world. We're proud of that. We're looking to build on the organic growth that we've been developing, and I'm super excited for the future. We were talking about AI before we went live here. We've been incorporating a lot of that not only into our operations, but now into our front office. But yeah, that's just a little bit of who we are. I've been at the CEO and chairman role here for, well, now I'm running the business almost 40 years.
Wow.
So it's kind of wild stuff. And the boys have come in as fourth generation. So super excited to have them help me lead the future and with their fresh perspective and ideas about what it looks like to sell, to market, to lead, and what industries we should be going after. And it could be even non-print related as we move forward.
Wow, I have so many questions in so many different areas in so many ways that like this could be a 6-part miniseries on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
First of all, your grandfather must have been quite the man to see what he saw and do what he did, and then your father to pick up on the packaging side. And the first thing I'm thinking is, and you could laugh with me, is, man, you guys were in it in the profitable days. I mean, if you were no, but if you were leading it, it was when it was not a commodity. It was a necessary need in order to move it. So I mean, that's amazing. I'm going to bounce around. So the first thing I want to ask you is, and it's not about anything you said, but as we are today in 2026, what I've noticed in the last 5 to 8 years is all of my commercial printer brothers thought, because everyone, you know how the industry works, right? Trade magazines start talking, industry starts talking about niches, and then all of us start picking up and going to those niches. Doesn't mean that they're created by the end users, they're created by within, right? So all the printers at one point or a lot started migrating to get into packaging. And I'm just curious from your perspective, you know, was it good or bad? Did they improve things? Did they worsen things? I know in packaging, you always had your 4 to 8 week delivery. Printers come in, they're thinking like commercial printers. They're now offering 10 days. The plates are now in the price, not separate. You guys had different streams. And then I think about all the years that you learned stuff, checking the board, checking the foil, making sure the adhesive, making sure the boxes don't pop open in the store. And I'm sure somewhere in your history you have something where the box popped open, and you have to pick them up at every store and pay a lot of money. So
that was actually just a quick story. Leonard Lauder was doing business with Franklin Folding Box in the late 50s, early 60s, and 1 million of their boxes popped open in the stores. And he called frantically my dad, said, "Howard, you got to help me." And we produced at that time foil boxes, metallized boxes. They were using hot melt instead of cold melt glue, and we were able to figure out a way to make it happen. We saved lunch, we saved him, and we've had over a 65-year relationship having worked with him. So it's just funny you mentioned boxes popping.
Yeah, well, I remember we did a lot of packaging. I had a 56-inch UV KBA press, but and we had a situation and we dealt with it, but for all these new people coming in. So what challenges can you put out? I don't even know if I'm wording it properly, but what can you advise some printers that are listening that if they want to go into the real packaging world, what they should just be aware of, like the top 3 things that come to mind?
I can go with the first one.
Sorry, I'm giving you the opportunity to scare them to keep you out of the business. No, but it's technical.
Yeah,
Packaging
so
is not just making a box, right?
Yeah, 100%. So we work with a lot of beauty companies, and their lead times are crazy, and especially when they have launch dates. You're like, hey, we need these in 3 weeks. So it's a lot of pressure on manufacturing and sales. That's a huge challenge that you can face by going from printing to packaging, is the lead times and the relationship to their customers are a lot more intense than on the commodity base for printing.
Oh, for sure.
And I think with Josh is, if I could just double down on what he's saying, is like a printer thinks he could just say, "Oh, I can get that done in
that's what
2
I'm
days or
that's
3
what
days."
I'm asking.
And the reality is,
they don't know.
We're in the chemistry business, and also the special effects business, and what may work on one substrate doesn't work on another substrate unless you've got the technical prowess to understand that. Yes, technology is improving and making things easier. Still, it's like we're almost like a Orange County chopper special, where each thing we do is a custom shop job. Almost,
Yeah.
we make millions of custom shops, but it's one slight little change, and all of a sudden it's like, well, did you check the dine level, and what's the age of that board, and what happened with the adhesion on that problem? And then all of a sudden it's the cascading event of like, we may lose a job, but what ends up happening is we get the job back the next time because the guy that came in cheaper, or the guy said he could do it, didn't do it, and said, I can't even produce this at that price because I had no idea it was done. The second thing is complexity of SKUs, and also really we're in the management of inventorying products, of developing, working with forecasts with our customers who most of the time don't know what their forecasts are. So you're dealing with obsolescent inventory, and you're dealing with making sure you also watch out for them. Because if you don't take care of them, they're going to be pissed. They don't even know it yet. They're going to be pissed. And so you can either like upfront kind of warn them or support them on that aspect. And packaging, for everybody that thinks they're just jumping in, paperboard is a tree. It's a living thing. So whatever happens after, say, 3 to 6 months, that opening force of that particular package on a high-speed line is not going to function as well, and could have line-stopping defects that a lot of these other printers are like, what's he even talking about? But those are critical things when you're working with big consumer companies. Is these all specific specifications that are endless. And lastly, I can go on and on, but like, the EcoVadis rating, and whatever where they are from a quality standpoint, for an auditing standpoint, for facility, for line trials, for your equipment. Like, you have to know how to run your stuff on their stuff. And when it goes wrong, is your team technical enough to go to their facility and fix the problem on their line, or take that problem back to your design department to help re-engineer, so the next time it runs, there won't be a problem.
Yeah.
So if anyone's listening in commercial print, it's not so easy.
But also it depends what packaging you're going into. Like, I think we're in a very complex industry with beauty. Like Mitch said, there's a lot of complex SKUs, a lot of artworks, color matching, stamping, embossing. Like, if it's more of a commodity-based work, when the job's only 4-color process and it's pretty easy, complex design, then that's a different story. I think we're just in a very insane but amazing industry with beauty and personal care, with a lot of different elements when it comes to packaging.
First of all, anything in print is insane.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're doing ink, if you've got toner, if you've got powder, it doesn't matter. It's an insane world.
Yeah.
And really, my point was just to the commercial printers, and it doesn't even have to be high-end luxury. Board changes, glues change, things change. It's not just print fold. There's many steps, and then it goes into a freezer, not a freezer. Where is it stored? Anything could happen. You just need to be smart if you're a commercial printer going in, thinking it's so wonderful.
And also, it's like you were just saying, for instance, we're looking to save money on a buy that we make from a commodity standpoint. Let's call it ink. You start changing and playing with inks and where you are from a color gamut stuff, and now you're in a whole nother world. But yeah, I saved money on the ink. Now I'm having nothing but color problems on press. And it's the same thing when our clients are like saying, oh, well, look at his price, and look at that's like where they play that. Sometimes you have to say, that's the best order I never got, and let them have it, and then see what happens.
Well, you know what, customers, I'll speak. You don't have to say anything, because I don't want you to be in trouble with your customers. But a lot of customers are idiots. They play the pricing game. They know that there's differences in the materials and how they're done and what could happen at the end. And we get still too many customers making penny wise, pound foolish decisions. And then we got to live with it, and then whatever. So if you're a customer, listen to who you're dealing with. No one's out to rip you off. They're out to do it right. How's that for a little plug? And then you're safe.
Well, thank you.
Then you're safe with your customers. Right.
We like to say we give our customers a good night's sleep as well. That's part of our tagline.
No, it's a perfect one. So question, we're going to move back now. Wow, 4th generation. When you were in the business, Mitch, when did you see this kind of like a legacy company moving on? Or at what point did you say, hey, I want to bring my kids in? Or did you want to bring your kids in at first?
Well, for me, I'd written a book on this subject a few years ago, and it really all stemmed from my deep relationship with my dad. I mean, I love my dad. We were best friends from the age of, I remember him coming home. I'd open up the door when he'd be walking down the hallway because he worked so much and I couldn't wait to see him. He was just a ball of energy and positivity and fun when he was around. You know, he worked 6 days a week. So the only way to really hang out with him was to start going to the factory and showing up in my, Oshkosh Bagosh overalls and running around the factory floor and getting into trouble and getting ink on my hands and smelling and hearing the sounds of the equipment. So I don't know. I just was like, it was special. We'd go on plane flights and visit clients. We'd go to Drupas together and he just made it fun. And so my goal was always to just try and make it as fun as possible. And I love my sons. I think they're brilliant men. I think they've got a lot of great ideas. And it really can be an exciting, scary, and as my dad would say, your business is like grabbing a tiger by the tail. So there's never a dull moment, I would say. And the other thing, like Max and Josh are separating their unique skill sets and strengths, where Josh is focusing on sales and marketing and driving those efforts. Max has got, in my opinion, a very analytical, mathematical brain, has been working with the finance department. He came out of KPMG and was supporting a lot of the decisions for DC Metro to look at onboarding Oracle systems. So he's in charge right now of a new ERP system for us as we look to explore and move forward. So
Who also do ERP systems?
So lots of fun,
Yeah, for the next 2 years.
But I, truthfully, I love them, and I couldn't think of, I couldn't feel more lucky to have an opportunity to continue building something. And I guess for me, it was that my dad let me run and do my thing, and my goal is to like be there and support them and let them do their thing. And so, like, I use the word shepherd. I've just done everything I can over my 40-year career not to F this up. And so now I think I've done that, and now I want them to say, this is where we're going, this is our vision, and I think that's a great gift if they're into it.
Boys, we have on tape that he said he wants to let you do your thing. So back when his father told him that, there was no recording devices. So
he would say, and by the way, Warren, he would go, I never said that.
Well, that's why they have it on video, because my father would say the same thing, right?
It's so funny.
We would all say that. Now, anyway, so I think it's totally cool that you have them there. I'm going to ask you guys. I'll go with you, Max. When did you know, or do you still know if you still want to be there or go there or any of that stuff? Like, how'd you get in?
Well, I feel like throughout our whole life, our dads brought us to the factory every year. Whether it was, I remember there's a photo of us hanging in there from like 2006. We worked there for a couple summers, for a couple weeks at the factory. One summer here at the plant, and then before I started my first full-time job, which got delayed after college, I started working here in our design studio for about 2 months, and I ended up really enjoying it. And I was like, wow, I have to go to my first company. Like I didn't want to leave, so I really, really enjoyed my time here. But I'm thankful that I started somewhere else. I got that first experience, but I was ready to quit, and I was ready to start working here. So I think I always kind of knew. It wasn't that our dad was very pressuring on us. Like, I never felt that intense pressure. There were like subtle moments of pressure, but it was like, if you join the business, not like you are joining the business. So it was always that if. But towards recently, I said, Dad, when I join the business, I want you to know I am joining the business. It's no longer an if. But I respected that it was not like an extreme pressure to do it. It was just kind of something we naturally gravitated towards. I remember when I really connected with the business was probably more later in high school, when, you start learning, you start seeing what subjects you like. And I was very interested in science and math. And I realized how much of that kind of went into the business, more so the sciencey aspect from being on the factory floor and learning about the inks and spending a lot of time in the ink room learning about all the chemical reactions that take place. But also the math side of it is a lot happening here in our design studio, a lot of with the estimating and the optimization and the operation. So I think, it's a huge learning curve. I'm still learning every day, but I'm definitely really love the business. I love that we are manufacturing a product where I was at before. There was not any product dealing with. So I think it's really cool to be in that manufacturing space still today, because not a lot of people are in that. So yeah, I'm super grateful to be here, and I'm staying. So
No, it's cool. And I think it's
for
great.
now,
For now.
For now.
Yeah.
By the way, you never really know what goes on in life to
No.
begin with, right? There's no guarantees.
No.
But
Yeah.
first of all, I think it's totally cool and smart that you work somewhere else first, because it's important to learn how other people work. It's important to be in other people's environments. And it's more important when you come into a family business, not for everyone to feel you just walked in and you're going to just, move around. I'm sure they have you doing things, but to come from elsewhere and coming from like a KPMG, I mean, night and day from talk about environments. One, you want to choke yourself, and the other, you're having fun and it's creative and colorful. Right.
And I think they're so different. Whereas actually I enjoyed it was that kind of like extremely corporate environment to a more laid back family office. I think you don't think you learn as much as you did there, but then when you come to the family business, you start applying skills that you didn't even realize you had, or your kind of thought processes on things. So I am grateful for it. But I also think that, Josh Josh didn't start anywhere. So I think I do envy that he has those few years of experience before me, because I see him every day and he's killing it in the office. So, I think no matter what you do, it'll benefit. I don't think you need to start somewhere, but I think for me, I just felt like I wanted to, and it was just kind of like that mindset I had in college. So
it's good. And I think it also depends on what you're doing, because like from a numbers perspective and a professional level, it's different than when you're in the trade and you're working and we're doing, we're doing the other thing. But that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And so Josh, what's your deal?
Yeah, so I
you
think
got kicked out of school, father brought you in as punishment.
No. I think as we were growing up, every single time before we went to school, high school, middle school, there was always a packet of samples that just produced that week of. And I remember he always used to explain each process from all of our different clients. And then as I started in the business, I remember we're running that. I know that client. So I think like he didn't realize, but at a very young age, kind of engraved the business and just like the terminology and technology about everything, which I really value that. And I thought that was a really good way to support us to start learning more about the business. I was opposite Max. Right after college, I joined the business right away. I was eager to learn. I started in the estimating department, so I was working with the estimating team, financing every single job, understanding all of our equipment, materials, run rates, which I think was very important for me. So once I got into sales, it was kind of easier to sell our products and our folding cartons. And I've been doing sales for almost 2.5 years, and it's been the best pleasure ever. I love meeting new people, founders, Fortune 500 companies, really explain to them how our process works at Arkay, our trademark paint on press, which we can talk about more later. Just really meeting so many different types of people, and it's just so awesome seeing my products come to life on shelf after working it with a customer. So I think that's been the most valuable part of my career here, is like walking into a store and be like, oh my God, I remember working on that, and going through those battles of what color we gotta get in one pass rather than two passes. Oh, we gotta change the structure to save them costs and optimize more at their filler house. So I think it's just like I learn so much every single day here. And when I talk to my friends about their jobs, they have great jobs, but I think it's so complex and interesting. And just working on having an operation cap and a seller cap, and then selling internally and selling externally, it's like the best of both worlds. And I'm so happy to join the business, and I am so excited for the next decades.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. And it's funny. You said a couple things. So there's a couple things when I got into print, and it doesn't matter what I loved about selling is every single person I met in business was a potential customer in some way.
Yeah, 100%.
Brochure, a box, a direct mail, an envelope. It doesn't matter what.
Yeah.
So I would get into an elevator. The elevator closes in a high rise. I turn around and I go, oh my God, captive audience. I got 60 floors to sell. Half the elevator thought I was a full-fledged idiot because I wouldn't shut up. And the other half thought, wow, that guy's got balls. He owns his own business. Because when you own your own business and when you're on the hook, what you say and what you'll do is incredible. So it's a wonderful thing. And then the other thing that you said that made me smile I can't stop smiling. My cheeks are hurting. Was, when you go into a store and there's nothing better than seeing something that you've done, right?
Yeah.
Or you're out on the street, or I would see a banner, 80-foot banner on a building, and I'd be telling everyone I'm with that I did that and what it is. They all tell me to shut up anyways.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
you do that. But I remember being in the supermarket, and I'm going down the aisles and I'm looking at all the boxes and everything. And I pick up a box and I'm like, I want to call that brand. How could that be in the store? How did they accept that? I fought against them. I lost, and I would not put that out on the shelf.
Yeah.
I literally walk into stores with my friends, and I'm like in the store for like 10 minutes longer, just like looking at every package. Or like, get the hell out of here. I'm like, I'm doing my job. I need to see what's out there. So I literally take pictures, and then like I go online, do my research, and then book meetings. Like, I think that's the cool thing about it. Like, you gotta have your work cap on all the time, and there's so many clients that we can talk to, because we can really do any graphic manipulation on any sort of carton. Because obviously right now we're known for the beauty packaging space, so we really can do anything. It's just how
I tell you, Warren, the one thing, I listen to all these conversations, I'm just smiling on the inside, just wishing my dad could be on this podcast with us and hear his grandchildren right now, or sons. But it's amazing because we were just talking at dinner last night. We're going out to dinner tonight, and I feel a little bad because we're always talking business, and then
no, you're
finally
talking
Josh,
life. It's not business. It's life.
I know it is life, but I just, you don't know because you don't know me, but I'm trying to be sensitive to the aspect that, like, there's so much to this business, and there's so much to cover, and there's so much to do.
You don't have enough time to teach it all. You can't. You got to keep talking about it.
I'm trying to, like, we're trying to, and I'm like, they're like, is this your dad hat or your boss hat, or like, which hat are you wearing right now? And I think that's the thing. I really feel them less as, they're my sons, but I really, guys, I really respect everything that you've been sharing. And I'm excited to continue to go into battle with you every day because of your energy, your enthusiasm, and also just your excitement for the future. It's, re-energized me at this point in my career.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to say this, and people, should hear it. But, when you're Jewish and you're a Jewish parent, you want your kids. We teach our kids to be energized, to want to do. Why? Because no one's doing it for us. So we teach them to work hard, to provide for family and community, and not to complain like a whole bunch of others. And we can't get away from that. So I'm really proud about that. And kudos to your dad. Kudos to you. And your kids are going to do the same thing. So when it's in you, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm remembering at the store, last thing, because you're going to be there too one day. I remember being in the store, and then I hear my wife screaming, like, where are you? Where are you? She's at the cash, wants me to pay. And I'm like dissecting boxes in the aisle. Right? You can't help that. And I said to her,
the coolest thing.
I said to the wife, if you want me to come to the store, that's what you have to deal with.
Yeah, right. Like, it's such a bad thing. I just remember going through the store over the weekend, and I walked down one aisle, and we almost owned the entire aisle with our customers. And that was a really proud moment too. And I don't want to mention who those clients are, but it was super cool because I was like, and all of our boxes looked just gorgeous.
Hot. A question that just came to mind. You don't have to answer it if you don't want to, but in what you do at the level that you do it, how has the business and or the customer changed in what they want, their demands or their expectations over time? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a cost to doing what you do. Do they try to kill you on the price?
No, I think what you said, Warren, a few minutes ago was interesting, and I don't think it was a negative aspect, but the challenge is, a bunch of years ago, you had Michigan State, you had Clemson, you had RIT, you had a lot of different universities, you had, technical schools, putting very, very educated, specific engineers, print specialists into the marketplace. So when you would go to a meeting with a buyer, procurement agent, or a package design person, they had a lot of depth of knowledge behind them. And the challenge right now is because of the turnover. I think really it was not 08, it was COVID that changed the whole landscape. it's there hasn't been people coming into our industry as much with as much knowledge about what they are buying. So many times I'd like to say we're actually in the teaching business these days just as much as we are in the packaging business, because some of our customers, they only have procurement agents in their roles for 3 years. And just as when they've gotten to learn how to buy what we make and understand the technology, there's a new person that comes in and we have to start all over again. So that's one of the things that I've noticed been different. And I think, the speed of the world. I mean, everybody, if it's not 6 seconds, if it's not instant, if it's not, right there, people lose patience. And also people don't want to know. They're like, can you ship that to us tomorrow? I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like,
But
we don't have any art. You never even placed an order. How, but I'm just going to, so it's interesting. Now
yeah,
that's an extreme example, but I mean, Josh,
yeah.
to tell you.
To following up what you're saying, I think the teaching aspect is actually an advantage for us because it builds a stronger relationship with the customer. They feel more gratitude towards you. They really understand the relationship and they feel like you're a valued partner. So when you talk about like new current designs or new print specs that can save you money, or talking about stock board options that would save your unit price, I think really kind of telling them what we can do up front before we even talk about purchase order, like how can we help you in that way? And they're like, okay, I really want to work with you, really want to partner with you, because most vendors out there are not really doing the upfront work. They just want the order. Like, I'm here, I want to like help you out. Don't give me the order yet. Let's figure out a great plan, an ordering pattern, new board options, like trying to go from this to that to save costs. I think that's the way to go, especially with like newer people in the industry that didn't go to like an RIT or Michigan State.
Yeah, no, I think on the buy side,
Yeah.
the buyers need to be a little bit more open and spend a little more time learning because everybody's so quick with a text.
Yeah.
Nobody listens. I remember quoting something where elevator graphics that go on the outside for a big mall. And when I submitted the price, I was double the price. And the buyer, I call the buyer up because they don't call you back to tell you bad news. And I follow up all the time. And how many people don't follow up, right? More dummies. And I follow up and I'm speaking and she said, oh, you're double the price. I go, hang on, something's got to be wrong. I know my business well enough that unless somebody made a big mistake, it's not possible. And I said, would you go through the specs with me? Because you always want to go through the specs, right? A lot of competitors change board stock or do something. And I go through, and what was the big difference? I put a matte lamination on the elevator things, on elevator panels. Why? So when the maintenance person goes to clean at night, the chemical doesn't take it off. The other person did what was asked. When the minute that maintenance guy goes to clean it, it's ruined, and you're going to spend double the money to redo it, plus you're going to need the lamination after.
Yeah.
The point is, the buyer didn't even read the specs to question why is there this extra line of lamination. So, I'm hoping people listening, we got to talk to the buyers and ask them for their time, ask them to listen, ask them any questions. And it is the teaching thing, right?
Yeah.
And the other challenge is that there's so much focus in our business on the primary component or the primary item that all of a sudden, like, oh my God, we got to size the box and we got to do it like da-da-da-da-da. So it's like we're the man going over the fence while the bullets are being shot at us instead of being part of the whole conversation. So I find our best customers are the one that get that it's the complete package and give us the time. The other thing Josh was talking about is paint on press. We basically have a trademark on. We've been going out and working with two-dimensional 2D artwork that our clients have and say, please give that to us. Let us show you what can be done besides what your design intent has given us. Because in many cases, they don't know the technology. They don't know what can be done in line. And all of a sudden, many times they end up choosing a lot of the stuff that we provided that wasn't something direction they were going to go just because they didn't know. I like to use the analogy of going to look at an apartment or a home with no furniture. It's like a lot of people just unfortunately, which is true, don't have imagination. That's why they stage it with furniture. You say, oh, wow, a couch can go here and there. We really do the same thing. We want to help the imagination of the buyer, of the marketing team, of the packaging team to show them, look at all of and here's some new stuff. So I'll just bounce on what my dad used to say years ago. Mitchell, you're in the fashion business. And every year there's new fashion. There's stuff that we wear, and there's also stuff that, the makeup industry and the cosmetics and everything else is going to try and mirror what's going on in the fashion industry. So what's hot this year is not going to be hot next year. So we have to constantly be looking for new materials, new substrates, and new innovation to keep the consumer excited. And so I think that's just one of the things that we focus on.
Meantime, again, kudos to your dad, because for him to be talking like that back then and to put it that way using those analogies, bang on. And you know what? I mean, it sounds to me that you guys lead the charge with the change and the creative stuff that you offer, right? And then the rest of our industry, you get like the OEMs trying to push stuff like the embellishment in the digital presses and all that other bullshit and whatnot. No, and I know, and I say it like that, I mean, because I look at it differently when it's owner operators doing things, looking to increase things or change the way things are done, versus when an OEM is coming up with something telling us it's the next latest greatest because they're just pushing their future sales and blah, 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 whatever stuff that is that they're doing. I just find we are on the ground. We are in touch with the client. We have to be able to do that and bring them in. When you guys, talk about being teachers, what do you do? Do you offer lunch and learns? Do you bring people in, university days, students?
Yeah,
what do you do?
Hang
on, sorry, Mitch, let the boys talk.
Okay.
So I
like
would.
me, we're salesmen. We love to talk, but shut up. Go, boys.
So I think, as we were talking about earlier, I think we're really trying to create more of a teacher dialogue moment. So like I have ideas about having like in-person dinners with like a panel, someone probably on the brand side and someone on the supply side, really asking like really in-depth conversations and bringing people together. Because obviously since COVID, it's been a lot less in-person things. So I kind of want to bring that back. And we live in New York City, so a lot of those brands are there. A lot of those people, founders and companies who are interested in meeting other founders in the CBG beauty space, we can kind of create an ecosystem. So I think that's kind of like my goal for this year, is to really like start planning that. I think that can be really beneficial to us. And then obviously in this office, like everyone's learning, everyone's asking questions. And I really think I want to enhance that even more, because everyone can be a teacher. I think being a teacher can be difficult, but even when I teach something to someone, I learn more about that situation. So I think making that more of a culture, internal and external, can be great for us.
Awesome. Love it. Wait. Max hasn't spoken yet. You've spoken a lot.
No, Josh touched on the external. I was planning on going right after and saying internally. I think whether that's people teaching other people of how to do certain things in this office, whether that's a proper training or that's getting certain vendors that come in that we deal with their materials every day, kind of teaching us more about that process, why one material is more expensive than the other, kind of just getting the whole picture, because we do teach our customers a lot, but I think that internal teaching is definitely something that we need to work on as a company. And yeah, that's just kind of what I was going to piggyback off of Josh and emphasize.
Cool. Mitch is sitting on his hands. He wants to speak. Go ahead.
Oh, thanks, Warren. No, you used the word university. So we used to, when budgets allowed, we'd have teams of anywhere from 6 to 12 people come to our facility and spend a full day, evening, and half a day, and leave the next day. And we'd bring in ink suppliers, coating suppliers, paperboard suppliers. And my favorite part of it is that what I would call, we'd have lab, we'd have classroom work, and then we'd go out into the factory. And then we'd go up on a die cutter and pull out a chase and show them a blanking tool and explain to them how that was done. Mm-hmm. Same thing with, the make readies on the glue line and, et cetera, et cetera. So, Josh.
So we should bring that back.
I know. I'm just saying we should.
I never knew we did that.
Yeah, it was very cool. It's called, basically it was an Arkay University, and we would have that, and we could still do that at our design center where I'm sitting with this colorful man behind me, and that's only about 50-minute drive outside the city where I'm sitting right now, where Josh and Max is too. We could go over structural engineering, color matching, Epsons, and people can leave with full comps out of here, and this is where it all starts. So if we can't get them to Roanoke or other facility, they can drive out here. And I would say that might be a place to start for you guys.
Yeah, and picking up on what you said, a lot of our customers have some complex jobs. So a lot of our customers have like holiday gift sets and a lot of primary components that go into a folding carton, and that can take a lot of pre-development of different options and internals. And so I think when the customer comes here, our engineering team is top class, incredible. They can kind of explain to them what they want in the folding carton, and we can do it right here in a day. So I think like that teaching lesson, when the customer comes in, speaks with an engineering mind about their cartons, is so impactful. And I've done it before, and it's moved smoothly. We've actually worked with those final structures in production. So I think that teaching moment is really critical for Epicenter.
And what you were going to say, Warren, about
Yeah.
like the other
Yeah.
people trying to get into our business, what's interesting is they could say they have a structural engineer, but what's nice with our team here is he's actually designing something that can be manufactured.
Yeah.
And there's a big difference between our competitor showing up with a box, right? Well, look, we got everything in there, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't shake.
And then they give them the price.
They go try and glue it. Then they go try and glue it, and that's like the guy in the factory is like, "What the hell is this?"
No, you have to be smart with what we're doing. I mean, in the old days when everything was more fluid, you can do and get away, and people were more tolerable of bullshit. But today, you don't have that space anymore to do it, right? It's
and especially the market's so saturated. These brands are trying to create a really great shelf presence on shelf. So it's like they want like the most complex, interesting designs that catches the consumer eye. So we kind of have to play with that too. Like, how can we make your brands stand out with all your competitors? So I think that's honestly an interesting thing we've been tackling recently.
Oh, I'm sure. And everyone thinks that they're going to be the latest and the greatest, and you're going to give them the only one, the best of the best. And right. So it's like kind of crazy. I was just thinking back when you're talking about the university. So I used to bring students in from a trade school all the time. Nothing was better than walking them on the plank of a 56-inch press running as it's rumbling. But more importantly than that is bringing in as many customers as I could and walk them through every process. Because when you walk them through every process from pre-press, and it's got to look a lot quicker and easier today, but when you walk them through from the pre-press to the plating, to the press, to the, to the die cutting after, or any finishing before die, they're like, oh, I see why you need a little bit of time. Or you make them sit there for 3 hours for a make ready and say, look how long it takes us. It just, everything you do like that in the education just helps buy us a little bit more time and sometimes, but if nothing else, a little bit more understanding from the customer, because everyone thinks white paper goes in, it out comes beautiful box in a day.
Yeah, we have
even the same with regular paper. Like, I went to one of our vendors and I was the customer, and I saw the intricacies and how complex it was, from getting the wood chips all the way to creating a roll of paper. It definitely is a long process that I had no idea about. So yeah, I found that very interesting.
My favorite show on TV is how they make that.
Yeah.
Right. Like I once went to a helicopter manufacturer to meet the marketing department, and I got there and was pretty much informed that there's no chance in hell of ever getting any work out of them because they're tied in with someone. And I just said to the guy, well, once I drove this far, would you give me a tour of the facility and how you make helicopters? And he's like, no one ever asked that. Absolutely. So I don't even, if I'm not doing the work, I just love to see, to know. The more you see, the more you know, the more ideas, creativity it gives you later on. You never know where you connect the dots. Right.
Yeah, and with new customers, we really try them to go down to our plant for like an on-press approval, and then we do a plant tour, and they really understand all the elements of our business. They're like, oh, it makes sense why you charge us for tooling, because they're like, oh, what's with this tooling charge? I'm like,
well, that's because they don't want to realize even in their own life they pay and charge and do all of that. But I would, and I'm going to get to your place one day. I have to, but I could only,
you're welcome anytime.
I could only imagine that when you bring somebody in twofold, I already have the perception that it's beautiful, it's clean, and you can eat off the floor and everything is great, right? And then everything you've got is probably all high-end, top-of-the-line equipment, well lubed and well oiled and taken care of like a Ferrari. And then for people walking in and to watch the whole process and walk in the lines and see where the board's stocked and comes down and gets on the press and the whole color, it's pretty encompassing. It's huge. It's like and really when they go to a competitor after, it must be like, what are we doing here?
Well, I think, Warren, to really, everybody can buy a press or a piece of equipment, but what I'm most proud of is really how the team is engaged with those tours. When we give those tours, I do what you've been asking me to do for the last hour, which is just be quiet. And I let them talk to each one of the operators and say, don't listen to me. You go talk to them. And we've had, literally heads of major corporations that say, I just want to go talk. I'm like, go ahead. So I think that's the thing, is that our greatest sales tool is that facility. And when people walk into it, and when they come here and they meet the team here, it's like confidence, expertise, and a good night's sleep. And at the end of the day, that's what we want to provide, while we make everybody else's life easy when they're struggling and to launch something with the cap guy and the bottle guy and the glass guy and this guy. And it's like, we want to make their life easy, not worry about it.
Yeah. Listen, when we first spoke, I told you the one experience I had with Larry Kendall at Cameo Craft, who, when I went in there with the people, talking, knowing who the team was, letting the team talk, letting the team show that their excitement for being where they are. Right. He was a master. And I guess, I don't know if your father was friends with him, but
yeah, I was telling the boys that, Larry and my dad, Howard, were very good friends. And Howard went to RIT with me, and Mitchell, I met when I was in Montreal a bunch of years ago, and they sold their business since, but was always a respected
they were amazing
partner in the print space. And they were very good. We skied up at Mont Blanc. I remember when I was like 8 years old, and with them. So lovely family, but yeah, just again, best in class company.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. So where are you going? Where do we see this going? Where's everyone going? Where's the company going? Where's the industry going? I don't know. Just give me some insight. Anybody? Oh, now Mitch doesn't want to say a word,
No.
pick and choose when you talk, huh? You're one of those. I get it.
Yeah,
No.
definitely one of those.
Listen, as I said, I'm reinvigorated because I'm leaning on their vision, and we're in the midst of doing succession planning for not only for the two of them, but our entire organization. We're finding out those people that are on the bus, those people that should not be on the bus, those people that need to be brought in the right seats in the right places on the bus that aren't in the company at the moment, but more specifically making overall like AI manifestos for the entire organization by department, looking at things that, from a technology standpoint are going to separate us from the commodity, zone that can be an issue at times. Lead from education, lead from artistic, creative aspects. It's more than just ink on paper, which you're a huge fan of and we're a huge fan of, but it's the process. The process has become more complicated. There's more SKUs, there's more requirements, there's, more places to ship to with, most insane requests. And it seems like it's just getting more complex each year. I think with that being said, it's, the boys and I have talked about, where do you want to expand? Is that another facility? Is that an acquisition? Is that in our space, outside of our space? Which markets are we looking at to build on that we're already in now that seem to be the right fit? And, so it's a combination of a lot of different potpourri of things. But the most important thing is we're meeting as a management team every single month, with 24 meetings set up, and I'm bringing in an outside facilitator at the end of each quarter. So we could basically say, okay, how's the team doing? Here's the accountability. Who said what they were going to do? And at least if we do get off track by a month or two, we're right back on with what we need to do.
Yeah, I also think it's a lot like technology-wise, whether it's producing faster with robotics on our machines, but also on our own work computers. How could we speed up the processes of what everyone's doing on a day-to-day basis, so those people could handle more things, or there's more time to teach other people things and train other people, getting into more advanced systems, like my dad said, AI, anything that could not replace a job but speed up someone's job. And just investing in technology. And I think we've done a great job of producing perfect product, but how can we do it faster with keeping that same quality? And I think that's extremely important for the future. And also what my dad said, expansion, staying in the same industry, different vertical. There's so many ways to go, and it's just about, someone gave me advice, just taking those baby steps and setting your priorities straight and not doing everything all at once, because it's all overwhelming and you want to make so many changes. But it's about finding that timeline. And I'm in my head, I'm pretty pragmatic and structured. I don't want to do everything at once. So it's finding that strategy with the team of what is best to start with, and what the next 5-10 years look like.
And the good thing is we're not leaving anytime soon. So we have time to like plan. And I also think just about onboarding new industries is really important because our machines are competitive with large volume runs. So I think just trying to tap into those markets that are not just in the beauty space. I think, again, I'm saying it again, we can do any graphic manipulation, any sort of carton. And I think we're just onboarding new tools. We just signed up with a marketing agency to really enhance our marketing capabilities with email campaigns and growth. And then we're looking into sales tools to help our sales organization because at the end of the day, our business is afloat because of sales. So our sales team is the most important.
Yeah, I think right now we want better marketing, and we also want that internal traceability, that technology forward, and keep up, if not stay ahead of the industry and everything. So those are our main priorities at the moment. Obviously,
you want to do it right.
Yeah.
And also, first things
don't want to
first,
fuck it up.
first things first, second things never. It's like focus on the big prize while you have the other items going. And I think there's two things that we've always been product innovation driven. The most updated this piece of equipment, that piece of equipment. But what I think we're working on right now very effectively is process innovation. How do we become more efficient, and more streamlined? And again, use the tools that we're talking about. But I'm also excited about robotics. Max touched on that. Everything that's going on literally with the stationary robots is going to go next level within the next literally 12 months with Optimus rather, as those robots are actually going to be able to start supporting internal stuff within the factory. It's happening now already in some automotive plants, and it's here. So you can either be scared by it or you can jump in and explore it and see what's capable and what's not, but at least know that it's coming. I think that's the thing I'm most proud of is that whether we've looked at bleeding technology, my father looked at bleeding technology, and it was painful in the beginning, but once we got it ready, we were ahead of everybody else. And that's kind of the goal is I think that's in our DNA is innovation. And so I think as long as we keep on mission with that, I think there's, a very bright future ahead of us. That's why I'm sort of wearing sunglasses right.
Fair enough. No, I think, listen, I was always of the mind where I like to buy new equipment. I like to buy stuff that's not out there to try it. You have a short window to have that competitive edge when nobody has it. But if you could build up who you are in that short window, it carries you further down for other events and other things to happen. So I think it's really cool. Honestly, I'm just sitting here and I will just tell you, I'm like in a bit of awe. I think awesome company and just the three of you together. And I've seen a lot of friends and a lot of families and a lot of whatever. You guys got a good role and chance here to continue to be awesome. No, really. And you know what I'm talking about.
We weren't talking over each other too much.
No, and I purposely try to shut up and let you talk. But you know what I'm talking about. Like just the flow, the communication amongst you. Dad sitting there smiling. So it's really good, So I'm going to go last question though, to you. What do you hope your kids say about you when they talk about how you ran the business?
I think that he was respected, that he took over the baton from his father, did something beautiful with the gift of this family business and presented it to us in a place of strength and of world dominance. And
you're pushing it a little now.
A little bit.
and now it's their turn. So that's I really want to continue to be their colleagues and friends, but also watch what they can do. And I listen. My dad and I were very, very close, but it was a Herculean effort to ask him to step down and to leave because he didn't really want a partner, and there was a lot of underlying sabotage unintentionally because he just really loved being the business runner.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
I came in and he was like, he wanted me there, but I want them here, and I want them to really blossom, and I want to support them. So I don't know. It's a hard question. I just, they respected me and they
Get to
appreciated
watch you
what I've
fumble a
done.
little.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know even what to say
No,
to
you
that,
you answered it well,
yeah,
and you want to be there really until they don't want you to be there anymore.
Yeah. And
which hope is never, because I'm having fun. Just
You'll always have an
being.
office, I'm sure, right, boys?
Actually, I don't have.
He doesn't have an office.
He doesn't have
You're
an
in the
office.
car.
Well,
Where's the
it's not in
mirror?
the car. I got a nice mirror. No, I think that's the whole thing. Like, I think ego aside, like, who's got the best idea should
Yeah.
win. I think that's the thing right now. It's like our dad was like, if we had a better idea, he was going to agree with that. It wasn't like he didn't make it up.
I
So
agree.
we had, so that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Yeah, you also learn from past generations. You take what you like from them, and then you don't take what you don't like from them.
We're all pros
And I
with
think,
that, right?
so I agree with what you said, Dad. He's been very respects our opinions. I mean, I just started. I don't know. Things might change, but I think for the most
We're
part,
talking about today.
No,
Let's not go too far.
No,
ahead,
it's
but
been an incredible journey
Yeah.
so far working with you. I think when you're on the outside perspective of family business, it's not an easy thing to do. It's very complicated and it can get messy. But since I've been here for 3 years, it's been a pleasure working with you, and our communication levels have been incredible. And I think I'm just excited about the future, and hopefully one day our kids can join it too. So I think it's such a cool industry, and I love meeting people who are in the industry on the brand side or the supply side, and just like having those conversations and sharing that terminology is so cool and different. So, thank you. And I'm just excited that Max is on, and we're gonna build
I finally
another.
joined. You made it.
Yay!
I'm gonna cry.
No, I definitely think having both of us ignited a fire inside of
Yeah.
our dad, and
Awesome.
it's been great to work with. So yeah.
I'm awesome. I don't even know what to say after that. That was like probably the best ending of any podcast I've ever done. And for a family moment, like you got to take this and put it on a loop and just keep running it at the house when you're having dinner. No, that was nice.
Well,
Oh my God. I don't even know what to, I'm speechless, and that doesn't happen ever.
Well, thank you, Ward, for making that moment possible.
But that was
With,
cool. That was cool.
yeah.
Wow. You made me, actually, this day turned into a much better day than it started out. Thank you. Do you boys want to add anything? Because he's not going to say another word on this podcast.
No, I'm just excited for the future, and just keep on working hard, stay in the lane, and like things are gonna pop up that are not gonna be great, and then there's gonna be highs and lows. We just gotta navigate and just keep on staying positive and grow. I think that's the biggest takeaway we can do.
Love it. Max, any
Ditto.
last word?
I think Josh said it great. Yeah, I'm excited for the future.
Family. Jesus
yeah,
Christ. I
excited
don't
for
even know
the
how to
future.
react to all this stuff. Usually it's like, shut up, fuck you. You guys are like, he was great. I love it. Did you hear what my brother said? Listen to my dad. Like, geez, did you guys practice this before? Set me up.
No,
for
this is our
I
first.
asked you for questions. You said
I
no.
won't give you questions.
Yeah,
That's
this is my first podcast.
This is our
ever,
first
so-
Is it?
one. So
Oh, man,
yeah.
I'm touched that you came on mine first. Thank you.
And you know what? It's good you didn't give the questions, because we got the questions for the first one, and then I'm like, we're not doing that.
I wrote stuff that I can't read. I just makes me
Yeah.
feel good like a reporter. But after that, the first question,
Yeah.
I'm like, don't
So
look
I
at
think
it.
it's better going into it not knowing the questions, because then it just like ebbs and flows and the conversation goes.
I also didn't know
But,
where I
yeah.
was going with it, so it was perfect.
Yeah,
I didn't
exactly.
have to fumble. But wow. So yeah, we're gonna end this one on everybody smiling, tears running, happy tears. These days are usually not so happy when everyone has tears, but it's amazing. I think you guys are awesome. I think the company's awesome. I wish I could chat with your dad, Mitch. I think he did an awesome job.
Yeah.
Boys, we'll talk again because I gotta
For sure.
follow this.
Yeah, come back to us in a year or two. And
Well, you know what? We should do a podcast in the factory. Come down to
Listen,
to
you
visit.
tell me when you want to set it up when it's warmer out.
Yeah.
I'm right there. I'm right there.
Yeah.
So okay, folks, for people listening, I hope you made it to the end, because this is definitely one you wanted to. If you did, you'd be smiling like the four of us, because it was really it was good, it was interesting, and it's not often I get to speak to so many people from a family in one group that are happy with each other. Usually one doesn't talk to the other, who doesn't talk to the other. And then I got to do 3 podcasts. It sucks. But,
You're welcome.
but thank you. So everyone else, I don't even want to end it the way I normally end it. So if you watched it, great. Thanks. If you want to hear something, great. Otherwise, have a great day and we'll see you on the next one.